In 1973, two brothers from Texas chartered a Boeing, loaded it with silver. Armed guards on board, flew straight to Switzerland. 7 years later, they controlled a third of all the silver on the planet. Then lost everything in 10 weeks. In 2026, silver just dropped 45%. CME raised margins twice in 1 week. Same exchange, same rules, same type of victims. How you own your assets today decides whether you survive or lose it all. Nelson and William Hunt, sons of a Texas oil tycoon, boom, family fortune, $5 billion. In 1970, they started buying silver, $1.50 an ounce. Cheaper than a cup of coffee. 1973, 35 million ounces. Then, they chartered a Boeing to fly it to Switzerland. Texas cowboys with guns, gambling in the sky, not a metaphor. Real Boeing, real guards, real silver. They didn't trust the dollar, didn't trust Washington. Swiss vaults, where nobody asked questions. 6 years later, they came back, stronger, partnered with Saudi royals. Money was not a problem. They bought another 43 million ounces in futures contracts. When the contracts expired, they took physical delivery. Didn't sell, hauled it away, repeat. By the end of 1979, 200 million ounces, enough to fill an Olympic swimming pool. 1/3 of the global silver supply, more than any country on Earth. Silver price, $6 at the start of 1979. $49.45 in January 1980. Up 713% in 12 months. Americans started selling family silverware, melting down church items, selling wedding rings. Pawn shops had lines out the door. Tiffany's ran a full-page ad in the New York Times, calling the hoarding unconscionable. First time ever, a jewelry company publicly condemned two of its own customers. Not cash, leverage, borrowing, margin, 10-to-1 ratio. Every real dollar controlled $10 worth of silver. Price goes up, genius. Price goes down, nothing saves you. Sound familiar? A bank appraises your house at 5 times its value. This neighborhood is going to take off. The bubble pops. 2008. Millions of Americans lost their homes. Subprime. Same mechanism. Leverage turns belief into a bomb, or, at that point, COMEX and CBOT only held 120 million ounces. The Hunt brothers held nearly double. The market was in the hands of 2 men, and the price was about to drop. January 1980. COMEX issued a new rule. Limit 3 million ounces per position. The Hunt brothers were holding tens of times that. Cut your position, or be forced to sell. January 21st, CBOT stopped issuing new silver futures. Liquidation only. No one could open a buy position. Silver started sliding, slowly, then faster. Banks called for margin. The brothers couldn't sell. It would cause panic. So they borrowed more. Borrowed to cover margin. Margin to hold silver. Silver losing value. Like a drowning man clinging to a raft that's deflating. March 27th, Silver Thursday. Margin call. $100 million from batch brokerage. The Hunt brothers didn't meet it. Silver collapsed from $21.62 to $10.80, down 50% in 1 day. Panic spread across every commodities exchange, not because of war, not because of recession, because 2 brothers bought silver. Bosch nearly went under. Merrill Lynch reported massive losses. Over 20 banks were exposed. If the Hunt brothers didn't pay, dominoes fall. Fed Chairman Paul Volcker called an emergency meeting. The Treasury monitored it by the hour. First time ever, private speculation threatened the entire system. Stop here for a second. In 2026, CME also raised margins, twice in 1 week. Silver dropped from $121 to $74 in a single session, the worst day since 1980. In 1980, CME changed the rules, margin calls, crash. In 2026, same script. Only difference, leverage this time isn't 10-to-1, it's 21-to-1. Some sources say 356 to 1, and this time, no one is in control. But leverage still kills. Rules changing mid-game still kills. But the Hunt brothers, what price did they pay? 10 weeks. From the richest in Texas to the biggest debtors in America. Nelson looked at the statements. $7 billion in paper wealth. Gone. More than the value of every NFL team at the time. Remaining debt, $1.7 billion. Over 20 financial institutions had lent to them. If they defaulted, banks go down with them. The government didn't bail them out, but a group of banks organized a $1.1 billion loan. So the brothers could pay overtime, so the system wouldn't collapse. Sound familiar? Just like 2008. Too big to fail. Bear Stearns. Lehman Brothers. AIG. Same script, different names. 1988. Both filed for personal bankruptcy. 8 years to lose 80% of the family fortune. Nelson Bunker Hunt, once the richest man in the world, he had to sell 500 racehorses, sell the ranch, sell the art collection, sell everything. Ended up with under $10 million. Fined $10 million each. Banned from trading commodities. For life. Not 5 years. Not 10 years. For life. Nearly a decade of lawsuits. Congressional hearings. A court ordered them to pay $134 million to Minpeco, a Peruvian mining company. Nelson died in 2014, humble, quiet. William lived longer, went back into oil. Forbes estimated his net worth at $2.6 billion in 2019. But he never touched silver again. William died in 2024, age 95. Neither of them ever traded silver again. But here's the biggest irony. They were right about the dollar, lost 87% of its purchasing power over 50 years. Right about inflation. Right that silver is a real asset. Every thesis, correct. But they were wrong about how to own it. 200 million ounces in cash, no leverage, they survive. Price drops, no margin call, no forced selling. Wait, in 2011, silver hit $50 again. If they had held, that's $10 billion. But they had nothing left to hold. Leverage turned right into bankrupt. 70% of Gen X fears running out of money before they die. More than they fear death itself. But every day, they still own things the same way the people who lost everything did. Everyone will say, don't buy silver. Wrong. Silver didn't kill the Hunt brothers. Leverage did. Same asset, 2 ways to own it, 2 outcomes. Physical silver in a vault, you can wait. Leveraged silver, ETFs. Someone changes the rules, you lose. Last video, Ike Batista, same pattern. Signed a personal guarantee for $3.5 billion. Company sank. He sank with it. The Hunt brothers, same thing. Leverage erases the line. The market turns, nothing protects you. Both times, the thesis was right. The execution was wrong. How many Americans over 50 are holding leveraged ETFs in their 401k? Their financial advisor says, diversify. But does anyone ask, what if the exchange changes the rules? Pension funds by SLV. Your 401k auto-allocates into commodities ETFs. You didn't choose, someone chose for you. And when margins change, you're the last to know. It's not what asset you buy, it's what you buy it with, and who controls the rules. The Hunt brothers didn't control COMEX. You don't control CME. The question, who's holding the button? The Hunt brothers believed silver would save them from inflation. The ending, bankruptcy. Lifetime ban from trading. 2026. Silver dropped from $121 to $67. CME raised margins again, twice. History repeating. Where are you in this story? Do you own your assets, or do your assets own you? If you know someone in that position, send them this video.